Yo, yo, yo. What's going on Facebook? What's going on YouTube? Hey guys, I want to hop on here and I want to talk to you today about self-sabotage and outwitting the devil. Okay? Self-sabotage and outwitting the devil. Okay, who do we got here? We've got Marie. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's going on, girl? Awesome. Great to see you here. We got Augusto. Good to see you here. We've got Sean Rigby. Hello from the UK, Sean. Hey, Augusto. What's happening? We've got Pierre live. What's up? We've got a Facebook user. Okay, guys. Oh, we got a couple more here. What happened here? Pierre says, hey, and he's tuning in from Ohio. Awesome. Marie's live from the UK. Okay, guys, this is, I believe, this is like the destroyer of all dreams, okay? Self-sabotage. And the bizarre thing about it is that it's a glitch in the DNA. It's a glitch in the program. So it's almost like there's a computer and it has a virus in it, okay? And the virus is literally going to take out the hard drive, okay? We all battle this, guys. The human race battles this thing called self-sabotage. And it's bizarre once you do a little bit more research and you start diving down a little bit further down the rabbit hole to really understand this and understand how could it possibly be that the human race would want to actually suffer over being abundant, okay? And it's a glitch in the DNA. It's a glitch in the program. And yeah, I encourage you to read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And there's an entire chapter on self-sabotage. And then there's another book that he's written called Outwitting the Devil, okay? Now, we all battle this thing. You know, we've got on one shoulder, we've got the angel, and another shoulder, we've got the devil. And the devil inside can take you out, okay? Can take you out. And a lot of it actually is directly interlinked or connected to our ego, okay? Now, the ego is something that wants to keep us in a safe environment, okay? So anything to do with change, doesn't matter even if it's good change. So in other words, if you look at a network marketing company as an example, in the event that the reps within the company have already learned a particular comp plan or a marketing plan for getting paid, even if the company makes changes where it's going to mean that the reps get paid more money, okay, it's still change. It's still change. So there's going to be, every time that happens within a company, there's going to be 50% of the people that are okay with it and 50% of the people that are completely pissed off, right? That there's been a change within the company. And as a result of that, they're not going to feel stable, okay? So, but as far as us as human beings sabotaging our success, Tony Robbins actually talks about this story a lot in Unlimited Power on how, you know, he was like the genius kid, right? When he was growing up and going into his 20s, and he had this vision for freedom. Now, keep in mind, Tony Robbins is probably close to a billionaire, if not already. He's a phenomenal businessman, but he talks about how once he got to $10,000 a month, what happened was that his circle of friends that he was hanging out with, they all of a sudden started to like reject him. Okay. So what happened was that, you know, he just wanted to be hanging out with his friends. So he would say like, you know, hey, like, let's go on a vacation. And they would like, you know, hey man, we can't afford that. No, don't worry. I'll pay for you guys. He just wanted his friends around him. Right. And they rejected him. So he started to associate making money with being rejected. So he sabotaged his own success until he went all the way down the rabbit hole, and he was living in a 400 square foot bachelor apartment and washing his dishes out of the bathtub. Okay. And he started showing up late for meetings or not showing up at all. And it was part of the tailspin to almost get him back to a point where he could be accepted by his peers. Okay. So, but we all battle this thing, guys. We all do, all of us. So, what I always tell people is that it's going to be an ongoing process of personal development if you're ever going to rise above it. Okay. Now, is it ever truthfully going to go away? It's not, right? That's what you've got to understand. There's a glitch in the program. There's a glitch in the DNA, and you just kind of have to accept it, right? Now, will you get better over time? Right? Yes, if you stay on the path of personal development, if you are always learning, always growing, always striving for more, and only competing against yourself on who were you yesterday and what can you do to better yourself today, right? That's really the whole thing. You can't get comparitis, right? Where you compare yourself to all these other people, and you may not be progressing as fast as them. So you already start to beat yourself up and look at yourself as a failure, when the truth is, if you look at who you are last week or last month, you haven't taken into account all of the progression that you've made. And money is not the only thing to be able to have reference to. So in other words, if you're on the path of personal development and you're growing as a person, you're growing as a leader, your confidence is building up, your self-esteem is increasing, right? You can't think of just that money is the only thing as the checkpoint or the reference point on whether or not you're actually growing as a person, right? And this is the one area that people actually, sort of have a tendency to do. They think, oh, well, because they haven't made any money yet, that they haven't progressed in any way to get closer to their dream. And it's not true. Okay. In the event that you ask any successful person, the whole concept of the overnight success that is the illusion that looks like somebody has an overnight success. It's not true, guys. You don't see what happens behind the scenes and all of the work and all of the late nights and all of the blood, sweat, and tears that they've gone through in order to finally get to their breakthrough, and the personal sacrifices that they've made along the way. So the illusion is that it's an overnight success because you didn't see the struggle. You didn't see the hardships. You didn't see the past that they had to overcome. You didn't see the tears that they had to shed and the emotional breakthrough that they had to go through first in order to propel themselves to the next level of abundance, right? So there's a lot of things that people don't see behind the scenes, right? And it's very, very important for you to understand that. But what is it? What is it that hinders us from jumping or going forward to the next level? And a lot of it has to do with our ego. Okay. A lot of it has to do with our ego. So the ego wants to keep us safe. Anything to do with change, the ego is going to resist, right? It's like holding on to the current reality. So if you've got a reality here, and then there's an energetic barrier between the realities, and there's another reality over here, this is the reality that you want to get to, right? Anything that's a change, the ego is going to go, no, whoa, don't go there. We're safe right here. We're safe, right? Even though the person may be suffering, even though the person may be struggling, the ego will still hold on to the previous reality and not let the person advance to take any action. Okay. So there's typically two areas. The first one is going to be procrastination. Okay. Procrastination is where you just say, oh yeah, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Yeah. Tomorrow I'm going to do it. And then tomorrow, on the weekend, I'm going to get it done. Right. And then the week comes and it's still not done. And then you project to the next week, the next week, the next week, the next week. Okay. Now I want to tell you guys a story of something that happened actually with one of my students. Okay. And this is kind of an example of what I'm talking about. Okay. Now, part of the process of opening up a gateway is creating a three-dimensional vision board that opens up a gateway. And I'm not talking about just slapping a bunch of things on a wall or on a cork board or anything like that. I'm talking about really understanding how it works to open up the gateway to another reality in the matrix. Okay. So she was going through this process. So she was in Millionaire Mentoring, and she was doing the next week, this weekend, next week, I'm going to do it, next week. Okay. So what happened was that a whole year went by, an entire year. Okay. And finally, what happened for me as the mentor, I finally reached my breaking point myself. Okay. And I said, Sonia, I called her up and I said, Sonia, here's the deal. Okay. I don't know if Millionaire Mentoring is for you because you're not doing the action steps that are required in order for you to get to your breakthrough. So I'm going to give you till this weekend to complete the task. Okay. And if it's not done by Monday, I'm taking you out of Millionaire Mentoring. I'm taking you out. Okay. Now here's the bizarre thing that happened, guys. And a lot of this actually has to do with the jump between being an employee and being a CEO. Okay. Because when you jump to become a CEO of your corporation, there's nobody that you're reporting to anymore, because you're all the employees and you're the boss too, and you're reporting to yourself. Okay. Now, the moment that there was kind of a situation where the boss was telling her, like, hey, this is the deal, and you have till Monday to complete this task, and if it's not completed, basically, you're fired, right? She immediately moved into action, and not only did she complete the task, she did one of the best three-dimensional vision boards that I've ever seen from one of my students. And she did a tutorial video to explain how the process works to make it look three-dimensional. Okay. And I still refer people back to her tutorial video, even to today. In fact, I just had a call with her today, and I just was giving her more props for the work that she had done. And this is probably, this goes back to about, I don't know, I'd say 7 years ago. Okay. And so but it gets even more than that. Okay. So I was scrolling the news feed and I came across her picture, and I had to do like a triple take, literally. Like, I looked at it and I went like, geez, do I have the right profile? Is this her? Right. And so I scrolled back through all the pictures to finally find a picture that I had recognized, of how I recognized her like 7 years ago, whatever, right? So I called her up, and we had, as soon as we heard each other's voice, we both started cracking up and laughing, right? Because it's been so long since we actually connected. And I said, Sonia, like, oh my God, I didn't even recognize you. I thought that may have been your sister or something that you had on I didn't even know if I had the right profile. Okay. Because it was such a dramatic change in how her face looked, right? It was almost unrecognizable. So I said, like, you've lost like a massive amount of weight, like standing ovation, phenomenal. I'm so proud of you. And here's what she said to me. She said, you know what, Darren? I decided it was time to take charge of my life. I decided it was time to take charge of my life. And she said, I just started watching what I was eating and I started doing some exercise. She had lost 50 pounds, guys, 50 pounds. Okay. And her face looked completely different. And it was a bam, it was like a shocker. Right. But that's kind of an example of what I'm talking about. So there's two different areas. One was her vision board, right? And procrastination is like a self-sabotaging action where we just keep on putting it off, even though we're actually given the action steps to be able to do. It's a completely different mindset when you're an employee versus when you're a CEO. Okay. And you have to understand this about moving into your own business is that you play all the roles in the beginning, all the roles, right? So you know, in the early stages, like you're learning strategies, but you're doing all of the different things. Now, eventually, what happens is once you get to the point where you've got some of the skills mastered and you've learned the skill, and you start making money, then you start to be able to outsource. It's kind of like hiring employees. But they're not full time. You're just hiring them for a specific task, and you can outsource pretty much everything, right? You can outsource video editing, you can outsource voiceovers, you can outsource graphics, you can outsource copywriting, you can outsource funnel creation, pretty much everything. Even running ads, right? You can just go directly to an expert that has already, you know, got the track record and performance. And instead of trying to gamble with your own money, you're going directly to an expert, and you know, you just work within a budget, and they're doing what they're good at, what they've already mastered the skills at. Okay. So procrastination is something that you've got to be very, very aware of. And you're almost better off to, when you first start, especially if you've never done anything entrepreneurial, is to, within your group or within your company, is to get an accountability partner. Okay. Work with an accountability partner, because it's kind of similar in a way to reporting to a boss. Okay. Because you're reporting to each other and you're taking each other through an accountability checklist. Like, did you do this action step? Check. Did you do this? So, you know, you kind of feel it in a way like you're reporting to somebody else when you have an accountability partner. Okay. So that's something, especially in the early stages of being an entrepreneur, that's something that I definitely recommend. Okay. Now, the other thing is something called complacency, right? And this is one of the reasons why it's not until a person actually reaches their breaking point, that is going to propel them into an action step where they're going to face their fear and just jump and just go for their dream. The biggest challenge, guys, when it comes to entrepreneurialism is especially when it comes to like Facebook lives or videos, or, you know, gathering groups of people together and providing value to the people think that they have to know everything. Okay. And you don't. You just have to be on a learning process where you're a couple steps ahead of the rest of the people. So in other words, if you get started as an entrepreneur and say that you don't know the strategy on what you need to do to generate leads. Okay. So you learn a specific strategy and then you implement the strategy for just a couple of days in order until it starts to get some type of a result. And then you're going to share with the people that were you 5 days ago on what was the thing that you did to get the little tiny result that you got. Okay. And they don't have to be huge. And this is the illusion that people have in their mind, that they think that if they don't have this massive income story, if they don't have this this massive life change that they don't believe that they can provide any value to the marketplace. And it's completely false. It's completely false, right? So in other words, if in a 5-day period of time of implementation, you learned a strategy, got a little tiny result, that's a bigger result than you had 5 days earlier. You see what I'm saying? So you got to shift yourself out of complacency and perfectionism. Okay, those are two more things that will sabotage your success: is complacency and thinking that you have to be perfect. Okay, perfectionism is like the death trap for an entrepreneur. Okay, perfectionism. So if a successful entrepreneur is somebody that just is so emotionally connected to their dream that they're prepared to kind of learn the process as they go versus trying to figure out the entire puzzle. And as it all comes together, this is one piece, this is another piece, this is another piece, and they start to learn the components and learn the pieces until the whole puzzle starts to just kind of morphs together. Okay, so let's just take a quick peek here. Let's take a quick peek. Who do we got? Who do we got? Okay, let's hold on a sec here. We got a ton of people that just piled on. Okay, we've got Bob Clark. How are you, sir? Great to see you here. Great to see you here. We've got Michael Dean. What is up, my friend? We have Rakeem is in the house. Congratulations, Rakeem. Hitting some numbers, brother. Hitting some numbers. Way to go. Way to go. Good to see. Fernando, how are you? Great to see you here. Andrew, watching from the Kent. Good to see you. John Campbell is in the house from Antigua. Awesome. Great to see you, brother. Fernando Mata from Atlanta. Cool, cool. The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. Hey, Darren, tuning it live from New York. It's Angelina. I love you, girl. San Francisco, head down, keep your feet moving. This is true. This is true. Sorry, computer crashed. Okay, thanks a lot for the heads up. Anna Carter, how are you? Congratulations on taking action, young lady. Big things ahead for you. Great job on your branding, too, by the way. It looks hot. Pam Phillips, tuning in from Arizona. How are you? Hannah Joyce, great to see you here. Dwayne, live. Awesome, awesome. Gotta go. Sending some hugs, sending some virtual hugs back to you, too. Chris Napa from New Jersey. Awesome. Hello, BC. It's Quebec City. Great to see you. That must be Linda. Dorinda, how are you? Great to see you as always. Darius, great to see you here. James Mike Brown, what's up? What's up? Okay. This is very, very interesting, guys, because, our anything to do with entrepreneurialism is truly about relationships. Okay. Now, James and I actually met way back in the days. We met actually at an Empower Network event. Okay. And, over time, he's been watching content and watching things and tuning into some Facebook lives. And this actually was a big part of him jumping and taking action. Okay. So we had a call this one day because I saw him struggling, and I gave him a call and I said, James, you don't have to know everything. Because he goes, I feel like I don't know everything and I don't know how it all fits together. That's okay. This is my point. You don't have to know everything. It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Okay. And as you learn and you implement and you get a result, right? Then you showcase your result. That's the process, guys. Learn something, implement it, share your result. Learn something, implement it, share your result. And that's how you start to get a following on social media, especially when it comes to our industry of being an entrepreneur. People want to get results. Okay. People want to get results. So people say, well, Darren, what do I do? I'm brand new. Start on the path. Don't have to know everything. Pick one thing, start to learn the process, get a little tiny result, and share your results. Okay. Now, Here, I want to give you guys an example of what I'm talking about, because this gets back to the story about people thinking that they need some ginormous income story in order to start the process, and you don't, okay? In the event that you want to be a successful online marketer, as an example, there's a couple of tools that you're going to need, okay? If in the event that you ever want freedom, okay? So you're going to need an autoresponder, and you're going to need something that's going to create lead capture pages. And the moment that you start to be able to tell your story of where you were over here, struggling and frustrated and, you know, getting rejected by your friends and family, and then learning something here and then applying it over here, the moment that you generate your first lead that opts in, you now have a result, okay? And even one lead, one single lead, because that's the one lead is going to turn into 10, the 10 is going to turn into 100, the 100 is going to turn into 1,000, 1,000 is going to turn into 10,000. Next thing you know, your list is going to be growing. This is the whole point, okay? Now, the moment that you bring anybody on board, you're going to get a commission from your Aweber autoresponder, because the tool that is required, or get response, whatever. I use Aweber, but my point being is that even the first little minuscule commission, even if it was $3, $7, okay, that is progress. That is progress. And if you would be actually surprised at this whole evolution of being an entrepreneur, you will have people cheer you on the moment that you show anything, any type of result that shows that you're on the path of learning and growing and stepping into leadership. Right? This is the illusion. So the interesting thing about this story with James was that once that started to make sense, he just started to show up more. And when he started to show up more, he sent me a message and said, like, holy cow, I can't believe that I was just not showing up, because he just kept on getting breakthrough after breakthrough after breakthrough. And that's what it is. That's why I say to people, 80%, guys, of the whole process is just showing up. Okay. But the ego is going to want to say, oh no, you got stuff to do today. You're busy today. You can't, you don't log on there. You got to go up for, your walk around the park or whatever, right? You got stuff to do. You got the gardening needs to be done, right? Well, better mow the lawn. So my point being is that the ego is going to want to keep you in a safe zone. It's not going to want to venture out. And it's something that you're going to have to realize, right? That we all battle this, guys. All of us. The human race battles this thing. And procrastination will take you out. Complacency will take you out. Perfectionism will take you out. And as long as you're prepared to realize that it all actually is stemmed from self-worth and self-love, okay? And you have to actually love yourself enough to finally draw a line in the sand and stop the suffering, okay? That's what it all stems down to along this journey, is whether or not you can finally say, you know what? I love myself enough to just say no to the suffering. Because once you realize that it's all being self-inflicted upon yourself, and you can change it at any time that you want, you can take action, that's when things change, guys. That's when things change. Samuel Mojica, welcome, sir. He says, great topic. Thank you. Great to have you here. Jonathan, always dig into personal development. It's really the gateway, guys, for a fact. Jennifer Bolison, great to see you here. Levi, 100%, he says, 100%. I've used journaling to get better at becoming aware of when the self-sabotage sets in. Awareness is key. This is definitely something right there, guys, okay? In the event that you want to really overcome this and take charge, in the event that you journal 3 times per day, morning, midday, and evening. And what you want to actually be able to identify is how do you feel in your physiology in your body? Because how you feel in the physiology of your body is going to be directly interlinked to your concentrated, repetitive, focused thought. That's what creates the feeling, the emotional feeling in your body. Okay. And if you start to journal, and you have to be honest with yourself, okay, you got to be honest with yourself. So in other words, you're not going to be able to identify the problem if you go to journal and then you lie about what was just happening, what you were feeling and thinking. Okay. So you've got to ask yourself, number one, how do I feel? How do I feel? And what was I just thinking about? Okay. And you'll start to see a pattern form. You'll start to see a pattern form. So it's like, I feel anxious. Okay. Well, what were the concentrated, repetitive, focused thoughts that you were thinking about? And start journaling this process, and it will keep you online until you can start to get over this repetition pattern, and you'll be able to identify what's actually going on behind the scenes. Fernando says, awesome topic. Thanks. Absolutely. Thank you, Fernando. Jonathan says, awesome. Appreciate you. Always be on the path of personal development. Absolutely. Hey, Don, how are you? Great to see you here. So true. Nice one sees what's behind the scenes. Absolutely. Karsten, how are you? Great to see you here. Should I push myself through to tears to make this happen faster? 100%. Okay, 100%, James. I might need lots of help and sharing, but I'm willing to go there, as scary as that is. Just so you know, that is at what James, I'm going to put this right up here, okay, so you guys can read this. What James is saying here is actually what holds people back from the journey, okay? Because what happens is, as you start to do more personal development, your Pandora, which is right here, okay, in your chest, okay, will start to bubble up like that. Like, in other words, if you talk about the stuff that happened in your past, about your story, right? Whether it was, with your parents or your siblings, or somebody, was verbally abusive to your whole life, or you went through some sort of a trauma, okay? Typically, we hold on to all of this emotional stuff, and it's letting that go that's going to get us through to the breakthrough. So you've got to actually break down to break through. You got to let the emotions out of your body so that you can get to the other side. So to answer your question, James, 100%, my friend, 100%. Okay. Angelina, I'll be right back. Meant to say no one. Okay. Yes, procrastination is a killer. If you recommend that, absolutely, I do. Wow, says Dawn. Quan, how are you? Great to see you here. Hey, Big D, not too sure who that is. Click on there should be something right around this video that says, give StreamYard permission, and you click on it, you go, okay, or something like that. I'm not very technical, if you didn't know that, right? But you click on that, and then it will allow your picture to show up here so that we can actually see who you are. Dawn says another big wow. My last self-sabotage pattern was triggered by planning to do something, then planning to plan to do action, then planning the action to take action. It was a nasty one, LOL. Better to plan something out, then act on it, little by little each day, rather than planning something, then planning the plan and never taking any action at all. You're actually very, very correct, Samuel, on that. But on that particular note, I want to tell you guys this story, and this is very important that you understand this, being an entrepreneur. Okay, this is about being able to overcome the sabotage, even when you're on a major growth curve. Okay, and people don't understand how this works with the laws of the universe. So basically, you've got the seasons. Okay, you got winter, spring, summer, fall, winter, spring, summer, fall, and they're never going to go away. Even if you want the summer to last longer, it's not. It's going to move into the next season. Okay, so you have to accept this, that in business, there are seasons. Okay, Jim Rohn talks about this a lot, that when it's summer, right, and in business, right, doesn't mean it's going to be summer compared to the actual season, but when you're in summer, you got to make sure that you're preparing for winter, because winter will come. And when winter comes and you haven't prepared for winter, then you're in a financial panic because you spent all your money in a summer. Summer's when you're in the zone and money's just coming in like crazy, but then you're not taking into account the winter. Okay, so be very, very aware of this. Now, what happens is that the goal is to get to this, right, along the equilibrium line within the yin and the yang. Okay, that is your goal, to get to kind of like this, okay, steady eddy, because the yin and the yang is never going to go away. Now, what happens is if you're here and you go from here straight up like a rocket and you hit some massive milestone, okay, what people don't get about this whole concept, these are universal laws, guys. Okay, these are universal laws, is that for every action, there's going to be an equal and opposite reaction. So that means that if I'm going to tell you this particular story, because I just had a chance to talk to my son. My son's 20, and he's going to university in Las Vegas. He's getting a biology major. But he got the entrepreneurial bug when he was probably 15. You know, he started tapping into millionaire mentoring 15, 16. And, you know, we would get on all these, you know, I'd tap him into quantum physics training. Okay. So at 16, he was going to the Army and Navy Academy. He said, "Dad, can you show me how to make money online?" Okay. So while he was going to school and studying, he made $2,069 within 10 days. So he kind of caught the entrepreneurial bug. Okay. Now, in December, this last December that has just passed, I was in Maui for a month with my family. We go every year. And Drayson, he like has mastered Shopify. Okay. Now, in just the month of December, he did $1.8 million in sales. Okay. Just in the month of December. Okay. And he probably pulled, I would say, about $300,000. Okay. He's 20 years old. So he went from like this to this. Okay. And then he went back to school. Okay. So now keep in mind, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So here's the very bottom and here's the very top where he was. And he went like, wow, down like this. Okay. And I'm not talking about like losing his money. I'm talking about like he felt like a failure. He felt depressed. He felt emotional. And we got on Skype this one day and he didn't know what was going on because he didn't understand the yin and the yang. He didn't understand what was even happening. He didn't understand what was going on. So he says, "Dad, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. I feel like, you know, I feel depressed. I feel, you know," and he started crying. He started crying on the phone. And I explained how this actually works. And so that because if you're searching for something and you've got something going on internally inside your body and you don't know why, right, it makes it even more confusing, right? It makes me start to question, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right path? What's going on, right? And we had another call yesterday to talk this through so that he can understand for future, right, as he's building his business, that these things exist. These are laws of the universe that you have to be very, very aware of in the event that you're not going to end up crashing, because it will take you out of the zone. And then you got to get back from here, even to get back up to the complacency line again. That itself is a journey in itself, guys. Okay. So typically what can happen is I've seen people that they're going on a path and their income goes straight vertical. Okay. Straight vertical. And then it goes straight into a decline, into a crash zone. And I've seen people actually have to go on antidepressants to be able to just get up to the complacency line again. So, you've got to be very aware of this, especially when you start to have success come to you or you access into universal abundance. You've got to be able to know the feeling in your body so that you can either get to the forest, get around trees, or get to an ocean or to the water. Okay, that will help to rebalance your equilibrium point so that you're not going to have as bad of a crash that will happen. And you'll know what I'm talking about because you won't even be able to move. You'll be flatline. Okay. People say, what does it mean to have a crash? Trust me, you're going to know. And hopefully the next time, right, that the yin and the yang is going, that you're going to be in a higher state of awareness and you're going to use some of your safety net so that the crash isn't as hard. You take the parachute down versus the falling off the cliff zone and you're falling right into the rocks, right, which can happen, right? So keep that in mind. Don says, thank you. This is powerful. I appreciate that. Appreciate you, Don. Let's see. We just lost the spot there. We've got, I have an accountability partner. We jump on Zoom call every Thursday night for an hour. Good job. Good job. Doing that as we speak with my pineapple post today. Cool. Thank you, Darren. I've been feeling like this. I really felt your pain today. Yeah, it's very interesting. Okay. I got to tell you this, guys, is that, I have a group where I do millionaire mentoring in. Okay. And in the group, I do Facebook lives where I give people actual action steps, actual things that I've personally implemented to get the results. Okay. And it's interesting to watch the people self-sabotage. So I can see the numbers. I can see the numbers on the side of the screen, and I can see them what they're at. Somebody comes on, they're on for 15 seconds, and then they self-sabotage, right? And today, I was like, I can't even believe this is actually going on. Like, why would somebody pay to get into a program and then never actually show up? Okay. Now I have data, and this may shock you when I tell you this, but I rolled out this one particular intensive where people actually paid. If they were in a program, they had purchased a business. That particular business cost like about $3,000, and then they were paying an additional, I think it was like $1,500 or something like that for this particular intensive. Okay, out of, I think there was I can't remember what the actual data numbers were, but it still doesn't matter because it's shocking. Okay, so out of let's say that there was 28 people, okay, that were going to do this particular intensive. In each session, there was only 6 people that actually showed up. Now think about what I just said here, guys. So people spent like $3,000 for a business, and then they spent more money to learn what to do. And out of the people that paid the money, and it was live and interactive. Like they could ask me questions. I would share my screen. I would show the exact steps that I did to roll out a campaign. And, out of the people that paid, there was only a little fraction of the people that were not on the path of self-sabotage. Okay. There's sometimes people will purchase a product and they never even open it. Or they buy a book and they never even crack the cover. And it just goes from the bag onto the counter. Then it gets moved around and shuffled around from counter to counter. And then it goes from there onto a shelf, and it never actually gets read, right? It's bizarre. It's bizarre. My struggle is trying to do that 3-day results without giving all the info away. Can you share an example of how you hold info back? I can definitely show that on a millionaire mentoring session, James. Absolutely. Hey, Jen, how are you? NYC is in the house. Great to have you here. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Awesome. Anna from the UK. Great to have you. We all love Angeline. Angeline is awesome. And, oh, what messed up there? Oh, okay, same one. Vic says hi, shirt looking good. Thank you. Thanks, Vic. When are you coming in town, girl? What's going on? Let's get together. Lena, greetings from Austria. Welcome on board, Lena. Now she's back. She's back in the house. Laura, tuning in. How are you? Cops came through the park. Birthday celebration. Whoa. Thanks for the love. Dawn says, thank you. Boom. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You're correct with that one. Prosperity game. 80% of success is showing up. Yes, it is. Thank you, Darren. Pure value, learning a lot. Awesome. Great to have you here, Anna. Thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that. 1% improvement every day. Keep moving forward. Great stuff, Darren. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Great to see you here. Journal 3 times per day. How do you feel in the physiology? How do I feel and what do I think? Yes, that right there, your physiology, just so you know, Don, is your compass. Okay, your physiology is what's communicating with the electrons. Okay, and that's going to determine whether or not the gateway's open or the gateway's shut. Right, whether or not you're open with the abundance flow or whether the dam is shut in the river. And your physiology is actually what's going to be the determining factor, and that's affected by your concentrated, repetitive, focused thought that's going on in your head. Okay, they're all interlinked. Okay, thought-directed emotion that generates feeling. That's the equation for manifestation. Okay, and that I actually learned that through Dr. Dov Baron, who's a quantum meta psychologist. I was working with him for 2 years to bring out his program and his seminars and whatnot. And amazing individual, guys. Okay, straight up. If you can get into see some of his content, his name is Dr. Dov Baron, Baron. Amazing. Okay, totally changed my life. Totally changed my life. Great exercise to see if we're self-sabotaging yourself is trying to enter on third person as if you're watching yourself through a glass window and see what I can change from that behavior could be something we see, hear, or feel. That's called being the observer, Augusto, okay? And in the event that you ever want to master the game, you have to be both the participant and the observer both at the same time. Okay, both at the same time. And that's really the key to, going next level. Happened to me in 10K Side Hustle, Pandora bubbling up. I will never forget that moment. Well, hopefully, Andrew, I actually cover that a lot deeper in Unleash the Alpha Within to give you the actual, gateway, right? And teach you about the matrix so that you can get through. It's an emotional journey. I'm not sugarcoating, and I'm not going to tell you it's not, because it's an emotional journey. Break down to break through. You're correct. Exactly. I go through a lot of pain and find myself struggling with sleep. Because of it, I waste time rolling in bed trying to get my full 7.5 hours. You need 7.5 hours? James, we got to get you into peak performance, bro. Okay. Tony Robbins talks about this all the time. The body only needs 4 hours of sleep to recover. Okay. Sleep to heal instead of just getting up and crashing hard later. Self-sabotage. On that particular note, what I would recommend that you do, James, is go to blackopsunderground.com/meditation. Okay, there's a meditation there called Mind Silence. And I recommend that you watch that or listen to that with headphones every single day. Okay, make that part of your income producing activities is listen to Mind Silence. Okay, congratulations to your son. Thank you. I appreciate that. Angelina, I'm super proud of him. Drayson is a super kid. He really is. He's learning how to trade stocks, right? And he's on his last year right now with his biology. And plus he started a new business. Now he's mastered these drop shipping video ads. So now he's offering a service to the whole industry where he's having these ads or these video ads made on his formula that he's used to, get the results that he's got. And he mentors over 200 students already, and he's only 20. I'm just totally beside myself. So proud of the kid. I was that way 2 years ago. I know the crash and the burn and getting back on track. It's, it can be, it can take you out. Don says, thank you. You're welcome. Is it possible to keep yourself away from the crash zone? How do you continue to increase your results without facing the opposite reaction that is coming? That actually has to do with self-worth, Samuel. You're going, okay, first of all, as you're going through the process, you're going to have to make a lot more trips to the forest, and or you're going to have to make a lot more trips to the ocean, okay? You're also going to have to increase your daily mirror work, and you're going to have to do meditation, okay, to keep you in the grounded zone. Because see, it's not the money, guys, just so you know. It's not the money. It's the vibrational frequency internally inside your body that goes up, 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 up. Okay. So when you hit euphoria, that's the reset button. Okay. So in other words, if you're making the money, but you're maintaining the vibration down enough that you're not at the reset point, right? Then you can be okay. But in the event that, so let's take a look at your story as an example, Samuel. So you started and you were making minimum wage at the bread factory, and you went straight up to 23,000 in a 3-week period of time. So your subconscious mind was already looking at the fact that you had already worked an entire year in 3 weeks. That takes you up into the euphoria zone, right? Where now you become like, whoa. Now, once you hit euphoria, bam, boom, reset. Okay, that's the reset button. So you have to keep yourself out of you have to be able to sense the feeling that's going on in your body to not hit the euphoria zone, because that's the reset button. It's not about the money. It's about the vibrational frequency internally inside your body. So hopefully that helps. Stephen, how are you, sir? Great to see you here. Warning. Yeah, it's the feeling in your body, Samuel. And once it happens a couple of times, you're going to recognize it and be in a higher state of awareness about the feeling. You'll know. Trust me, you will know when you start going into euphoria, right? Because you're going to feel invincible. You're going to feel superhumanoid, right? You're going to feel like nobody can you're bulletproof. That's the feeling that starts to come, where the ego starts to kick in and take over, and then right, and you hit the reset, bam, then the crash comes. Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate that. I'd love to have an accountability partner myself. Just reach out into the group there, bro. Just, connect with somebody that you connect with. I reconnect with nature every day at the park. That is very good. There's already been a crash. Whether there will be an even bigger crash, that's another thing. I don't know if you tuned in late, Dave, but maybe you're talking about an economic crash. We're talking about, like hitting a, massive. Okay, so in Drayson's situation, he went from, kind of learning and mastering the skills and whatnot, and then he went like this up to he did $1.8 million in sales in 30 days, right? And he went straight up like that. His vibration, bam, he hit euphoria, boom, he hit down to the bottom of the crash, right? Where does the Black Ops bling come from? I'm not too sure what that means. I had some stuff done up that we're going to be rolling out some merchandise and stuff when Black Ops Live rolls out. So we'll have a store for that. Came in late. We'll watch the replay. Awesome. What's the difference between emotions and feeling specifically? Okay, that's a too big of a rabbit hole to go down right now at this particular point in time. 4 hours, Marie says. Yes. Doing the perceptual positions does lots. Okay, I'm not too sure what that means. Darren, you know how I am about sleep. Okay. There is a forest in my own backyard. Well, that is good news, because you should, that's a good regrounding thing. People don't understand the power of nature, the power of a forest, for getting regrounded. Okay. And that's actually, in the event that you're looking to get to your breakthrough, the forest or the ocean can help in that process. Because see, when you're looking out at the ocean, okay, the ocean is a great representation of the spiritual realm. Okay, the spiritual realm. Okay, because it goes to infinity, right? Everywhere that you're looking, it's infinite. And you take two cups, you dip it into the water. Now you got two people, and then you pour them out, and that's the life cycle, right? So it's a great representation, and that will connect you back to the spiritual energy of basically being one with everything and nothing simultaneously, right? So the ocean is a good one. Some guy with bone cancer said we need 7.5, so that's the only reason why I shot for it. Never heard of 4 hours healing. Interesting. 4 hours actually, James, is in the peak performance zone. Okay, the peak performance zone. So, like, you typically go on certain type of compression and go for a compressed run. Like you might do a 30-day run, a 45-day run, a 60-day run. The longest I've ever done was a 90-day run. I have 4 hours sleep, get up, do it again. 4 hours sleep, get up, do it again. But the results that you can generate from that are off the charts. Like in the one compression point, when we rolled out Black Ops, in a 30-day period of time, I went from 0 to 165,000, right? But then after that, I went and flew to Manila and had a recharge, right? I took 2 months off and went to Manila and hung out with Ari for a little while. So what do we got here? Samuel says, huge help. Awesome. I must be the first person to ever fall asleep live on a Zoom call. I've just said one of my biggest breakthroughs right here on this live. I hit euphoria. Okay. Awesome. Well, that's your reset button. So you want to get to the forest or the, ocean fast. I need accountability partner also. I went into that when I hit my biggest month of 50K and 4 new, had no idea what I was doing, just rolled with it and forced it. Actually, the interesting thing is once you get into the vibration of manifesting and you're on the path of surrender, and you're on the path of loving yourself enough to feel worthy and deserving that the abundance is going to flow, it will just come to you. You just have to not be pushing it away along that journey, right? I have a porch garden that takes up several hours every day. Now, very grounding. Awesome. Then I lost it and went into depression. Well, you went from euphoria to the crash, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I feel alive after I ride my horse through the forest. This makes sense. Very good. Live. Yay. Hello, Chrissy. How are you? David, do the sunrise and sunset help as well as the forest and the ocean? I would say yes to that. I would say definitely yes, because it's like a nature, it's a universe, right? So absolutely. I love catching the live. Just got home in time. Good news. Wow, Darren, this live is amazing. So much awesome content. Appreciate that, Don. And we've got, that is what is happening. I've reset. Okay, well, there you go. So, I recommend, Ashley, get on that meditation, blackopsunderground.com/meditation. And it's called Mind Silence. And I recommend to listen to that every day, right? And start into, you're speaking your reality into existence. People don't realize we speak our realities into existence. Okay, I'm just sharing this with you. The problem that most people have is they think about everything that they don't want. They speak about all the drama to everybody that will listen. They write about it and they're angry about it as they write about it. And they're emotionally connected to everything that they do not want. So why would they be shocked that everything that they don't want keeps on showing up? Because that's what they speak about. But once you're conscious, once you move into a conscious state of awareness and you start speaking about the reality that you want, everything will start to shift. Okay. So what I typically recommend for people to do is to have like an abundance statement that they read out loud, and it goes into proclamations. So I'll typically, take a deep breath, and then I'll say, money flows to me easily and effortlessly. Every day I wake up, my Facebook inbox is filled with people that want to join my business. Everybody that I talk to says yes, right? That's kind of what I'm talking about, is you speak it into the reality. Hey, it'll totally change your life once you really get this whole concept. Totally change your life. I live in New York City, no ocean and forest here. Well, you're going to have to use a mental escape inward to go to that place. It can be done, right, internally, right, through meditation or music, or if you go to YouTube and you get the sound of a trickling water or a trickling stream, and you put headphones on, and then you focus on your breathing, you can actually go there, right, internally, inside, right? You can go to that place, right? Typically what I recommend that you do is you start off with some pictures, or you watch some video of, if you want to go to the forest, watch some video of forest. There's tons of content on YouTube. And then you go into the headphones, but you're going into the video internally, basically. Like if you watch 10 minutes of, waves in the ocean, and it's in your track, it's in your subconscious now, and then you put the headphones on, and now you take the inner journey, you can still go there. It's just internal, right? It's very, very possible to do that. Okay. I don't know what happened here. We just jumped. This is amazing. Seriously, catch the lives. As we know, it is not the same when you catch the replay. You are correct. Chris Napa, wow, I'm in awe for this journey. All the expected ups and downs. Now I understand more. Good news. Massive value as always. Appreciate that, Rakeem. Thanks for being here. Currently using auto hypnosis to reprogram the mind. I use deep trance identification by Dr. Lee Poulos. Very, very sad news though, guys. Very, very sad news for me, because he was one of my top mentors through my own career. And I went online looking for deep trance identification for one of my students. And I found out that actually 3 years ago that he died. I didn't even know. I literally just found out about a week ago. And I was like devastated, because he was such an incredible mentor, such an amazing person. Ashley, thank you. You're welcome. I go on YouTube and watch videos of the ocean. There you go. There's your answer. I live 3 hours from the ocean. Absolutely, thoughts may come and persist in staying, but thoughts unspoken die unborn. When you speak out your thoughts, you just took those thoughts as yours and put them in motion in your life. There you go. David Snyder has lots of awesome content with NLP stuff on YouTube, stuff that works amazing for me. Cool. Sorry to hear for your loss. Yeah, Angelina, is very, very devastating. Very, very devastating. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining me here today. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I don't know where you're tuning in from. This is broadcasting in 5 different locations right now. If you do not have this tool, I'm telling you, you are making it way harder on yourself. Okay, it's called StreamYard. And I'm telling you, it makes life a lot easier when you can broadcast in multiple locations simultaneously on the internet and be able to hit your audience in not only live, but in multiple broadcast pages for your replays. And this should be a mandatory tool for you if you're a serious marketer. Okay. Yeah, somebody says, thank you, Marie. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thanks for the massive value. Appreciate you, Angeline. We appreciate you and your time. Thank you. And thank you. Thank you. And watch my live from today. I spoke about looking at the clouds and enjoying the beauty above. Doesn't matter if you are in the city, just look up. Awesome. Okay, guys. So my name is Darren Little from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I hope you got value from this broadcast today. If you did, If you had some aha moment, if your mindset shifted in some way, share this out with your team, share this out with your people, and throw me a comment down there below. Tell me what your aha moment was, what your takeaway was, and what shifted for you. Maybe you didn't know something that was actually going on that you've been dealing with, and this made it a little bit clearer for you. So I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and let's go get it. Have a good one. All the best.